give our children the future we did not have. My husband works hard every single day to provide for us, to make sure we're in the best financial position possible. As a stay-at-home mom, I made it my life's mission to ensure our children are loved, nurtured, and supported every step of the way. In wake of this tragic incident, our family has been under attack. Whatever you think what happened between Karmelo and the Metcalf boys, my 3 younger children, my husband, and I didn't do anything to deserve to be threatened, harassed, and lied about. The lies and false accusations that have been set up.
Whew. Here we go again. It's black, it's white, it's yeah. In the great words of the late, great Michael Jackson. This case, I kept hearing about it back and forth. And, of course, it's gained a lot of national attention. And pretty sure just about everybody knows about it. But just once again, my take on it in relation to how typically, because a lot of people don't want to acknowledge that racism still exists because it's not like it is overt or in your face, right? But the problem with racism is that it continues to exist because you still have an inordinate amount of people that look one way, having a lot of money at the top, and a certain group of people who look like me that just don't, right? Now, is that everyone's issue or problem, or for the most of us that are within the 99% or 95% of just good, hardworking people? No. But a lot of times the power players are the ones that, these comparisons come about, right? So you have a kid, for those who don't know, but I'm pretty sure you do know, that was the mother of the Karmelo Anthony, not the basketball player, the one with the K, as I'm sure you know. And what happened was he was at a track meet. He's a football star also. I believe he was a junior, maybe a senior, junior, maybe a senior. But him and so he was sitting at a track meet, and it was the 2 other white kids, and they both played football. They were both larger than he was, from what they're saying. So they approached him, or one of them approached him and said, "Yo, look, basically beat it, get out of here." You know what I mean? So I don't know if there were racial words said or whatever. You know what I mean? But they said, "Get out of here." So he basically said, "Look, you touched me. I got something for you." Basically, with his hand in his bag. Could be a little variation, but this is my summarization. So got the thing in his bag. So he goes in and he says, "All right, well, now if you hit me or you punch me, you know what I'm saying, I'm going to do something to you. I'm going to, stab you, whatever." So then the guy pushes him again, and then he stabs the guy in the chest. Problem I got with it, right? Problem I have with it is this. I don't care whether you're black, whether you're white, whatever you are. Life isn't about going looking for trouble, right? And I talked about this in a video before, how everybody's all proud of the one in their family that stands up. "Oh yeah, you don't want to mess with such and such. You don't want me to call my sister or call my whatever, because they're gonna come down here, and if I make a call, it's over," right? We've all heard that. We've all probably been on the other side of that too, whatever. And the call was made to one of us. But the thing is that it's a difference between protecting yourself, because I believe that the kid is or his lawyers are trying to say it was self-defense. It's a difference in that, and in my estimation, kind of provoking a situation that's already bad, which to me says that there are some thinking, some coping, some other skills that should have been in place, that maybe a kid that old, because he's, I believe, 17, should have had as opposed to going to stabbing someone. Now, I've had this debate with, a few people, and, they always say, well, it's self-defense. Because the thing is that, am I black? Yes. Am I proud to be black? Yes. Am I always going to be black? Yes. But the thing is that I want to look at things from, how are we protecting kids? How are we, because we're all adults, so we do what we do, right? But how are we protecting kids? And now there's another kid that's dead. And I know people will say, well, he shouldn't put his hands on him. Cool. You know what I'm saying? And of course, from my era, it's rumble it out, right? And everybody say, no, you don't do that anymore. But my thing is that you still don't resort to stabbing someone. You still don't go as far as to say, hey, listen, and once again, we'll find out what all of the facts are. Hey, listen, and the guy could have poured out something else. He could have done something else. But the thing is that you were asked to leave, right? Are you going to let somebody else, especially another kid, tell you to leave? No, I'm with him with that point. You know what I mean? You tell a guy, don't touch me. All right, cool. I'm with you at that point. Don't touch me. I'm going to do such and such. I'm even with you to that point. But once you pull it out, it's not like you in the hood, you're at a track meet, brother. So once you pull it out, you have the determination as to whether you want to use it or not. Now, once again, I'm speaking totally blind with no video, no witness accounts really, with the exception of they kept messing with the kid, right? But the thing is that the whole point of life is to live. The whole point of life is to live, not to take from anybody. I don't care, once again, whether you're black, white, Asian, Latino, whatever. That's not the point of life. And especially at school or wherever they were at a track meet. If there were this many problems, then, somebody should have alerted somebody else, or, ask Karmelo, the young man. Hey, look, you know what? I'm trying to sit over here. They such and such and such and such. Because my big thing is that, why are you going to school with a knife? Or why are you going to a track meet with a knife? Or any weapon? Because obviously, I'm looking at them. It's not like you sitting in the hood somewhere. Because even where we went to school, you had to walk through a metal detector to go to school, right? So people would bring in stuff, but they would try to get snuck in through the side door or like one of the other entrances. But they weren't coming to, like at these certain schools, people weren't coming now. Maybe some people did, because I can hear people now. Oh yeah, when I used to go to the games at Showdown, I always had my burner on me or whatever. Cool. But what I'm saying is that you're going to a track meet, or you're at a track meet, and you have this just to protect yourself, not to, in my estimation, escalate more of a situation. You're 17. It's not like you're 12 years old or an 11-year-old child. You're old enough to understand, like, yo, if I'm gonna pull this out, I'm pulling it out not to use it because I'm not in that type of a situation. Now, some people will say, well, maybe he felt like he was in that type of situation. At 17, because he seems to have his mom, I guess that's his dad that she's married to, whatever. You have your parents. The teaching should not even go to that level of escalation. Because the first thing is, and I was talking to a buddy today, my buddy Mike, said, listen, yo, he checks his kids' book bags all the time. He checks his son specifically all the time. Right? Now, that's not to say nothing can't get past any of us, but the whole deal is that, why at 17, you're playing football, right? The mom said on there that she moved to a better place, for the family to because she's a stay-at-home mom. Cool, I get it, right? So you move to a better place. This is obviously, or seemingly, maybe a interracial situation. You got different kids from different races there, so it may not be as treacherous as where you were at before, right? So, and I know he may still be bringing some of that baggage with him from before, but that's for a situation where you're in imminent danger, right? So Once again, I'm not in his head, so I can't claim or know what he was thinking. But what I'm saying is that it's something severely wrong with this. It's something severely wrong. That you can't have, like, we cannot have our kids walking around with knives that are going to do that type of damage. Don't even know what kind of knife it was, right? Or guns or any of that kind of stuff. Because when somebody dies, it's a big issue. It's a terrible thing. And as a parent, you know what I mean? I can only think either way, right? So I think you got to be a parent to kind of understand this to a deeper level of empathy, because it's hard to imagine you either one sending your kid to school and something like this happens to them where now they're deceased and they died in their brother's arms or whatever. Or on the other hand, your child is the one that did the stabbing. And like she's saying, now they're getting death threats. Now they're having all of these other things going on. Now it's an issue with this. It's an issue with that. The only issue is, I would say, is, Mom, these are some of the issues when it happens to one of our kids, somebody that's close to us, one of our family members. Oh yeah, the heat is coming for everybody. The heat is coming for everybody. So it's not going to, especially once again, because I said, like I said, we're always going to be a racially divided country and world for that fact. Right? So, Mom, it's going to have to be a deal where you have to understand that this is what it's going to be. It could be forever. Because for one, not only did you take a white kid's life, you took somebody's kid's life. He took somebody's child's life. When seemingly, like I said, until we get some video or more witness accounts, it did not have to go this far. It did not have to be this way. Like, I know we get desensitized sometimes, but the taking of life, because if you've grown up in it, if you've known it and you felt it, not just somebody dying from natural causes, but friends of yours who've been killed, murdered, family members, you would understand, like, how, and that's happened for most of us. But if people haven't gone through that before, you would understand how precious life is. And to have one person take it from another person at a damn track meet. At a track meet? A race. So now you have people, because I think they just buried him. You have one family that's burying a kid, another family that has a kid, that could be going to jail for years, for a very long time. So, like I said, what we'll do is that we'll wait and see, but I just wanted to touch on it because, it's definitely been a big headline. And, I think that, these are some of the things, that we should discuss, because, hey, listen, there could be other kids out there. There are other kids out there that maybe, a friend knows, a friend of a friend, or somebody else knows. And, they may need to hear that or this. And they may need to do like what my buddy says, take a little more, like even with my kids, yo, what you watching on the phone right now? Yo, what you listening to? And even my ears are listening out. You know what I'm saying? You got your headphones on. I just come look over. Yo, what you doing? Because the thing is that how they say it, once you get into trouble, it's easy to get into trouble, but it's hard to get out. So let's make sure that we're going double, triple, quadruple checking our kids' things. If you got a niece or nephew or somebody to live with you, because we can't be scared to do these things. We can't be scared to confront our kids, because we don't want to have our kids in these positions. Now you got 2 lives ruined, 2 families ruined. So, we all got to make sure that we're looking under the beds and in book bags and stuff like that. But hey, until next time, live life. Don't let life live you.